Hello, what's up, everybody? This is your boy, AJTRIP, and welcome to another episode of the Game According to Me. I hope you missed it. We were off, obviously, last week, although we did do an episode uh, talking about the year in review of 2022. So I hope you enjoyed that, both on YouTube and here on the podcast. But we're starting today's episode talking about the update of Damar Hamlin, the young man, 24-year-old safety out of Pitt, plays for the Buffalo Bills, who went into cardiac arrest this past Monday night, in a game for the Bills during the Bengals. He was resuscitated on the field in front of his teammates, his family. He's now in a hospital. I have here an article um, from CNN. It is by Elizabeth Wuss and Adrian Broaddus, um, giving you an update on the latest of Damar Hamlin. Damar Hamlin's doctors are working to get him breathing without a ventilator after his mid-game cardiac arrest left him in critical condition. Here we go. After suffering a cardiac arrest mid-game on Monday, Buffalo Bills safety Damar Hamlin remains sedated on a ventilator as doctors work toward getting him to breathe on his own, his uncle said, while uneasy supporters across the nation await word of his fate. A 24-year-old player still was in critical condition Tuesday night, his uncle, Dorian Glenn, told CNN. After his collapse on the field the prior night halted the Bills game against the Cincinnati Bengals, stunning a packed stadium that had only moments earlier been rippling with excitement over the catch and run of Hamlin's tackle of a Bengals wide receiver. In just seconds, medical personnel were rushing onto the field to administer CPR and resuscitate Hamlin in front of his teammates, many of whom fell to their knees, setting up a prayer or openly weeping and embracing one another. Hamlin would be resuscitated twice that night, once on the field and again when he was hurried into the University of Cincinnati Medical Center, where he was still being treated Tuesday night, his uncle said. I'm not a crier, but I've never cried so hard in my life just to know, like my nephew basically died on that field and they brought him back to life, Glenn said. Hamlin is on a ventilator to relieve some of the strain on his lungs, which have been damaged, according to Glenn. The doctors told Glenn his nephew has also been flipped over on his stomach in the hospital to help with the blood on his lungs, he said, adding, it seems like he's trending upwards in a positive way. The game was suspended with nearly 6 minutes left in the first quarter and was later officially postponed. It will not be resumed this week, and no decision has been made on whether to continue at a later date, the NFL said on Tuesday. On-field injuries are not uncommon in the league, which often resumes play after severe cases, but several current and former players have said Hamlin's cardiac arrest felt especially disturbing as medical personnel fought to save his life while fans and players looked on. Bills offensive tackle Deion Dawkins realized the gravity of his teammate's condition when Hamlin stayed on the ground as more medical staff were called over, he said. In that moment, you're just thinking, like, what can I do? What can we do? And it immediately just breaks down into your prayer. Dawkins told CNN's Wolf Blitzer on Tuesday. Whether you're a believer or not, only a higher power can take control of what is next. And our people that help also assist that higher power. Hamlin's collapse marks the latest in a series of tragic blows for the players and Buffalo community, which in the past few months endured a racist mass shooting, a historic blizzard that left at least 41 people dead in Erie County, New York. It has been, just a constant beating for Buffalo, Dawkins said. A swell of support surrounded Hamlin and his messages of prayers and well wishes have flooded in from star athletes, fans, and nation leaders. A fundraiser that Hamlin previously had started for his Chasing M's Foundation toy drive have raised more than $6 million since his hospitalization. At a prayer service for the player Tuesday night, community members described the heartbreaking watch of one of our own endure such a crisis. All you can do right now is pray for DeMar, the man, not the football player, not the Buffalo Bill, but the person. He has to pull through, the city's poet laureate Jillian Hainsworth said. What doctors may be thinking. It is still unclear what led to Hamlin's cardiac arrest, a condition that results from the electrical disturbances that cause the heart to suddenly stop beating properly. Death can occur quickly if help isn't rendered immediately and is not the same as a heart attack or heart failure. When the heart is not beating well, fluid can sometimes back up into the lungs and make it hard for the medical staff to oxygenate the patient. CNN chief medical correspondent Dr. Sanjay Gupta explained. So they will flip the person on their stomach in a prone position to make breathing easier. It sounds like Hamlin is still having a significant amount of cardiac dysfunction and his heart cannot pump enough blood, Gupta said. One treatment One of the treatment options is to decrease the body's demand for oxygenated blood, he told CNN's Anderson Cooper on Tuesday. Quote, so you want to improve the amount of circulation, but in the interim, you can also decrease the demand by sedating somebody by keeping them on a breathing machine, he said. Sometimes they'll even use cooling agents. Hypothermia, it's called. To basically almost put the body in a more of a hibernation-like state so that it's not demanding as much oxygenated blood. That's the part of the reason he would be on a breathing machine as well. Hamlin's family on Tuesday thanked the UC Medical Center staff who have provided exceptional care to DeMar. Quote, on behalf of our family, we want to express our sincere gratitude for the love and support shown to DeMar during this challenging time. We are deeply moved by the prayers, kind words, and donation from fans all around the country, the statement said. This is a brutal sport. I think people forget that. Several star athletes, including tennis player Coco Gauff, the NFL's J.J. Watt, and NBA legend LeBron James, have applauded the NFL's decision to postpone the game and have emphasized the importance of Hamlin's safe recovery over the game's outcome. Former NFL player Dante Stallworth said the league's decision to postpone the game wouldn't have happened years ago. 5, 10 years ago, the game probably would have resumed, he told CNN's Jim Scuato on Tuesday. I don't know if you can make the game any much safer, he said. This is a brutal sport. I think people forget that. They look at players more as commodities sometimes, especially with fantasy football. Sometimes we forget the human side, that these players are actually human beings and that they have families, wives, and kids, he added, pointing out that Hamlin's mother was witnessing this with her own eyes. Dawkins was relieved and grateful that his team did not have to continue playing, he said. The fact we did not have to go back out there on that field and play just shows that there is care. And that all we can ever ask is that we get treated as people, he said. Because most people treat us as athletes, as superstars, and some people like celebrities. But in the moment, they treated us like people. Bills players and staff are still processing Monday night's events, a source within the team told CNN's Coy Wire on Tuesday. The continued shock of Hamlin's hospitalization on top of city's mass shootings in May and deadly December blizzards, having a home game in November, moved to Detroit, and getting stuck in Chicago during the holidays has been heavy on everyone associated with the club, the source said. Everyone is exhausted, the source told Wire, adding that the team's fight back to New York didn't land until 3:30 a.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday. And that was the article from CNN written by Adrian Broadus and who's the other person again? Elizabeth Woods. That's the latest. It was updated at 8:31 a.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday, January 4th, 2023. That is today. That is about 20 some odd minutes ago. Yes, we are all so shocked and just in awe of what happened to Damar, and it is such a tragic accident to have happened. We've never seen anything like this before ever, and and now to have it happen and to see it, and it's just been wild. It's been a wild couple of days. We hoped that Damar can get himself and these doctors can help Damar get back to breathing on his own, get back to being, you know, just being here with us. And yeah, it is absolutely it's unreal. The past couple of days, what these past couple of days has been. He's been the top story, not only on sports but on news, and it's unreal. And for everybody to come together for him for his charity. I mean, again, that is so amazing. Because when it started, when it started, when it was apparently when the thing happened with the hit and everything like that, it was just too. It was just too. Um, it was even less than what it is right now. But I mean, it's been over 200 and over 200,000 donations. It says here 202,000, maybe 600 donations. I mean, it's just it's a lot of anonymous, but we saw the wrestler Chris Jericho. He donated twice. He donated 5,000 the first time, spelled his name wrong, and then he donated another $5,000 doing his name right. Um, I'm looking through some of the things right now. It's just some are anonymous, and it's all random types of things. It can be anything from $5 to $33 to $20 to $50, $25, $100. The top donations. Uh, Somebody named Jason Henold. Um, then Robert Kraft, obviously from the New England Patriots. Matthew Stafford, uh, 12,000. Russell Wilson, 10,000. Tom Brady, 10,000. Uh, Carpet Man Flooring, 5,500. Devontae and Devon Adams, I guess that's his wife. The Washington Commanders, 5,000. Like I said, Chris Jericho. Um, the Why Not You Foundation. Um, Andy and JJ Dalton, and if you maybe real if you remember several years ago when Andy Dalton beat the Baltimore Ravens on the last second drive, they got the Buffalo Bills in the playoffs for the first time within years. The Buffalo Bills Mafia donated to Andy Dalton's foundation, and he had and it ended up being over $400,000 where to go with his foundation, and he returns the favor here for a fallen soldier. Ryan Leaf, Shannon Sharp, Wink, and Laura Martindale. I think that's the thing. Josh McDaniels, uh, Yeah, some Michael Phelps, Drake London, the receiver from Atlanta, Jason and Devin McCourty. Yeah, a lot of people have donated. Someone did love from a Niners fan, $1,334 donated. Yeah, the Arnold Palmer Invitational Fantasy Football League has donated $1,60. So yeah, and there are just many others as well. A lot of people donating $1,003 because his number is 3. So yeah, yeah, there's a lot of good things happening for this young man, and we can do nothing but hope that he is able to see to wake up and see what this community, what people have done for him, um, and enjoy and bask in the beauty of the humanity that he has been shown over these past couple of days. Um, like I put out on Twitter, I am not do not believe in God, but I am praying for this man. So, and I would ask the same for everybody out there to do the same as well. Pray for Damar Hamlin and his family and his teammates in this very tumultuous time. So before we also move on and we get into some of the more not important things to talk about in the world of sports, I do want to say this. Um, Over the past couple of days, there have been some things that have been said. One by Skip Bayless on Twitter, and once by Bart Scott on First Take. And I think these are two totally different things here. On Monday night, Skip put out a tweet, and in which he was questioning the logistics of of how the game was going to be played, how was it going to be postponed, if anything like that. He was putting that out on Twitter, and he's essentially apologized not only on Twitter, but he apologized yesterday on his show. And listen, I can understand the backlash of that because in that point in time, should have been probably no thought about the game. It should have been just about Damar Hamlin and what he was, you know, what he was going through, what his family was going through, what that team was. The both of those teams were going through things like that. It should have been just about Damar Hamlin. It should have never been about the game. So I understand Skip getting a little backlash for that. Skip has apologized again, like I said, both on Twitter that night, and obviously he apologized yesterday on his show. So Shannon Sharp did not show up to the show yesterday. Um, so yeah, that's that. Now for Bart Scott, I find it different because there's been clips going around about what Bart Scott said, and it's like it's people are upset, and rightfully so. You're upset that this young man is fighting for his life, and you feel like you need to get this. Someone was at fault, and someone needs to have the blame, right? You feel that way, but there's no reason. This is a tragic incident. There's no one here to blame. The NFL isn't to blame. Buffalo Bills, Cincinnati Bengals, nobody is here is to blame. People who have thoughts on this, nobody is to blame. Even Skip Bayless is not to blame. But we're so mad that this has happened to this young man that we feel like we want to blame somebody. Yesterday, I was listening to Chicago radio, and Courtney Cronin, who is the ESPN reporter for the Chicago Bears, she she was blaming the NFL Monday night. Then she was blaming the NFL yesterday, even going so far as to say that the game should be canceled, which was just a ridiculous comment. Again, I know that she is passionate and in her feelings as well, but to make those type of comments to it was just it was unreal. Of course they need to play. Of course they need to play. And everybody's been saying that all the time. Roger Goodell has said that Week 18 games are going to go on. Of course, this should be played. These games should be played. But I think going back to Bart Scott, for everybody to jump down on Bart Scott, which he says in the video, I'm not blaming T. Higgins. Now, if you want to say his analysis of what happened is wrong, that's fine. I do believe I think it is. I don't think he was talking about how he was T. Higgins was putting his head down trying to brace for the hit that was coming from DeMar Hamlin or give a hit to DeMar Hamlin and the chest hit and his helmet hit his chest and things like that and that may have caused it and that may not have necessarily happened. Bart Scott may have misread the situation. That's fine. You can say, hold up, Bart. I don't think that's necessarily what happened here and you can do that. But he never blamed T. Higgins. He never did. And for people to go out on Twitter and to say he did is a bold-faced lie. It truly is. It's just a total bold-faced lie. Again, I know we're all upset, and I know that we've never been in this situation before. You feel like you need to blame somebody, but this is something where you don't need to blame. There's people you just don't need to blame. Something terrible happened, and we can just hope and pray that for the best outcome to come around. That's all we need to do. And I wanted to just say that as we have to make this always uncomfortable transition from something serious to something that does not mean anything. And let's go ahead and do that right now. Let's talk about the NBA standings. As we start this new year and of 2023, getting ready to get to the halfway point of the season. And let's check it out. Let's start in the Eastern Conference, shall we? The Celtics are 26-12. They're the number one seed as of right now. The Nets have with a win streak of 12, unbelievable, have shocked the world, and they are the number two seed with 25-12. The Milwaukee Bucks are number 3 with a 24-13 record. The Cleveland Cavaliers are 24-14. What a game for Donovan Mitchell the other night. 71 points, 11 assists, 25 for 25 from the free throw line. Amazing. Put it down on my Chicago Bulls. On the 76ers are at the 5 seed with a 24 and 22 and 14 record. The Pacers are the 6th seed with a 21 and 17 record. And then the teams that would be in the play-in games, the Heat at the 7th seed with a 20 and 18 record. The Knicks also with an identical 20 and 18 record. The Hawks are at the 9th seed with a 7 and 20 record. And the Wizards are at the 10th seed with a 17 and 22 record. The Bulls, they talked about it. They're 16 and 21. The Raptors are at 16 and 21 as well. The Magic at 13 and 24. The Hornets are 10 and 28, and the Pistons are 10 and 30. As we now take a look over at the Western Conference, the number one seed is the Denver Nuggets. Jokic once again doing his incredible thing, incredible games that he's had. There's been some tremendous games. Luka had one. Klay Thompson had one the other night as well. LeBron James has been like going crazy in his 20th season. Unreal. But so as we go ahead and let's look at these Nuggets, the number 1 seed, 24-13. The Grizzlies, the number 2 seed, 23-13. Pelicans are number 3 with a 23-14 record. Although Zion Williamson will be out for the next few weeks with a hamstring tear, I believe it is. So that's tough for the Pelicans having to deal with that. The Mavericks are 22-16. The Kings are the 5th seed with a 20-16 record. The Clippers are the 6th seed with a 21-18 record. And now we get into the playing teams, as the Trailblazers are a 19-17 record in the 7th seed. The Phoenix Suns are a 20-18 team in the 8th seed, and they're even though they have one more win and also one more loss than the Trailblazers, um, percentage wise, they would be lesser than that. They just by off by 2 points. So that's something incredible. Another 20-18 team was the Warriors, who are above 500 for the first time in a long time this season, and the Jazz, who at the beginning of the season was a top team, has come back down to earth. They've lost 5 straight. They're 19-21, but still very, very, very surprising. Because you thought they would uh, be a kind of bad team. They would be where the Rockets would be, but they have showed they have their fight. Rounding out the rest of the Western Conference, the Timberwolves are at 17-21. The Thunder are at 16-21 at 12. The Lakers are at 16-21 as well. Spurs are at 12-25, and the Rockets are at 10-27. So there you have it. A look at the standings 4 days into the new year. Um, this is gonna be a bumpy ride coming down the rest of this season. So, and it's good to see a lot of new faces in new places. Cleveland Cavaliers and the Indiana Pacers, the Nuggets and the Grizzlies and the Pelicans. Taking over the Eastern Conference thing, Eastern and Western Conference. So that's really good to think. Really good to see. So as we head into the college football national championship game, let's take a look back at this bowl season, shall we? We go back to December 16th, the Bahamas Bowl, UAB, now coached by Trent Dilfer, although he was not coaching in the bowl, but he will be coaching UAB next year, beat Miami of Ohio 24-20. In the Cure Bowl, Troy beat University of Texas San Antonio 18-12. I don't know. It doesn't have what bowl this is. It just says bowls. But Louisville beat Cincinnati 24-7 on December 17th. The Las Vegas Bowl, Oregon State demolished Florida 30-3. Fresno State beat Washington State in a bowl game 29-6. Southern Miss beat Rice in the Lending Tree Bowl 38-24. BYU beat SMU, slipped by them 24-23 in the New Mexico Bowl. The Miami Beach Bowl, Boise State beat North Texas 35-32. Marshall beat Connecticut in a bowl game 28-14. The famous Idaho Potato Bowl saw Eastern Michigan um, take care of San Jose State 41-27. In the Boca Raton Bowl, Toledo beat Liberty 21-19. The New Orleans Bowl, Western Kentucky beat South Alabama 44-23. In the Armed Forces Bowl, Air Force beat Baylor 30-15. The Independence Bowl, Houston beat Louisiana 23-16. In the Gasparilla Bowl, Wake Forest took care of Missouri 27-17. I think I saw something on TikTok last night, maybe from that bowl, where one of the guys in Missouri is trying to help up the quarterback. They sack it, and one of the defensive players got upset that he was trying to help him up, and then they started fighting. So that was insane. Um, that was kind of funny. It may have been from that bowl game. The Hawaii Bowl, Middle Tennessee State beat San Diego State 25-23. And the Quick Lane Bowl, New Mexico State beat Bowling Green 24-19. The Camellia Bowl, Georgia Southern lost to Buffalo 23-21. The First Responder Bowl, Memphis beat Utah State 38-10. The Birmingham Bowl, East Carolina destroyed Coastal Carolina 53-29. Guaranteed Rate Bowl, Wisconsin beat Oklahoma State 24-17. The Military Bowl, Duke took out Central Florida 30-13. In the Liberty Bowl, the tremendous final overtime type game, Arkansas beat Kansas 55-53. It was one of those things where they were trying to go for at the end of the game. Kansas going for the Philly special, and the guy just threw it away for some reason. I couldn't believe that. In the Holiday Bowl, Oregon beat North Carolina 28-27. That was a fantastic finish as well. Texas Tech beat Mississippi State in the Texas Bowl 42-25. The Pinstripe Bowl, Minnesota beat Syracuse 28-20. The Cheez-It Bowl, Florida State beat Oklahoma 35-32. At the Alamo Bowl, Washington beat Texas 27-20. The Duke's Mayo Bowl, Maryland beat North Carolina State 16-12. The Sun Bowl, Pittsburgh beat UCLA 37-35. The Gator Bowl, Notre Dame took on South Carolina, beat them 45-38. In the Arizona Bowl, Ohio beat Wyoming 30-27 in overtime. The Orange Bowl, Tennessee beat Clemson 31-14, put a beat down on them without Herndon Hooker. Sugar Bowl, another beat down. Alabama beat Kansas State 45-20. The Music City Bowl, Iowa shut out Kentucky 21-0. And in the Fiesta Bowl, the first of the college football playoff games, in a tremendous matchup, TCU beat Michigan 51-45. This was great. Some back and forth action. I think it was 44 points in one quarter. Was the third quarter that was scored by both teams, going back and forth. Tremendous game. We love to see it. And there were some calls that didn't go Michigan's way that maybe led to TCU winning this game, but a truly epic showdown between TCU and Michigan. TCU went on. Peach Bowl, Georgia beat Ohio State 42-41. A comeback from Stetson Bennett, and then Ohio drove down the field. I had a little problem with this. I thought Ohio should have tried to center the ball more. And I don't know if that would have helped out any with the kicker, because the kicker he shanked it, he pulled it while left. But I would have tried to get the ball more centered instead of having it all the way on that left hash mark. There was in the college game, those hash marks are a lot wider than it is in the pro game. So, but the field goal missed. Georgia wins 42-41. Now, the championship game this coming Monday between TCU and Georgia would be something to worry about. Georgia's already a big time favorite, so we'll see if that continues with them. Some more bowls. The really a Quest Bowl. Mississippi State beat Illinois 19-10. The Verbal Citrus Bowl. LSU put a absolute pounding on Purdue, 63-7. The Cotton Bowl Classic, Tulane beat USC 46-45. And in the Rose Bowl, Penn State beat Utah 35-21. And like I said, we got the national championship game coming up this Monday. 3 TCU at the number 1 seed Georgia. I'm going to be rooting for TCU. I want them to beat Georgia. I want them to become one of the underdogs to win this championship. So I'll be rooting for TCU. Obviously, Georgia wins. It will be back-to-back championships for the first time in I think 10 years to do so. But I'm going for TCU, hoping TCU upsets the apple cart and gets a national championship. And as always, we end this podcast by looking at the NFL Week 17. Let's go back to Thursday. The Titans beat the Cowboys 27-13. The Falcons they are beating the Cardinals on Sunday 20-19. The Patriots beat the Dolphins 23-21. The Saints beat the Eagles 20-10. The Jalen Hurts not again played and is gonna go to them in the future. The Giants won the playoff spot, beating the Colts 38-10. The Panthers had an opportunity to win the division, just couldn't hold on to it. Brady and Mike Evans got hot. They win 30-24. Buccaneers. Chiefs beat the Broncos 27-24. It's that whole division thing because Broncos are a good team, but the Chiefs cannot blow them out. The team that did get blown out, my Chicago Bears, get blew out by the Detroit Lions 41-10. The Browns beat the Commanders 24-10. The Jaguars beat the Texans 31-3. They got a big game coming up. The 49ers beat the Raiders 37-34 in overtime. Brock Purdy does it again. Seattle beat the Jets, knocking them out of the playoffs 23-6. Packers destroyed the Vikings 41-17. Vikings, guys, for those of you who think the Vikings are frauds, they are not frauds. But they're a good team. I can't explain why they get the doors blown off of them sometimes. The Chargers beat the Rams 31-10. Steelers beat the Ravens 16-3. And for them to come back and be 8-8 and have the opportunity for Mike Tomlin to once again go not have a losing season, I think it's tremendous. It is just tremendous. And of course, the Bills and Bengals game was suspended. That is probably not going to be made up, and I don't know how that's going to affect anything in the future. Um, with um, the seedings um, with the seedings of the AFC or anything like that. So um, I'm just not sure about that. Looking for the let's look for like the scenarios to come up. So look at who gets in, how they get in, and things like that. Want to get those to you, but and it's gonna be weird again because the other game was suspended, but they're not. So we'll take a look at Week 18. The Chiefs are at the Raiders. That's a Saturday, the first game on Saturday, and then the Titans at the Jaguars are the second game Saturday night. And this one's a pretty easy one. Winner gets the AFC South title and makes the playoffs. I think that's well, it's not easy. The Jaguars could also get in the playoffs with another thing too, and maybe they have those scenarios will be there when I read them next. We got the Ravens at the Bengals, Browns at the Steelers, Vikings at the Bears, Patriots and the Bills, Jets and the Dolphins, Buccaneers and the Falcons, Panthers and the Saints, the Texans and the Colts. Those are all the 1 o'clock Eastern games on Sunday. Um, in the afternoon, we got the Cardinals, 49ers, Commanders and Cowboys, Rams and Seahawks, Giants and Eagles, Chargers and Broncos at the 4:25 Eastern time. And then Sunday night, we got the Lions and the Packers. So, the scenarios. Okay, so let's take a look at this. For the number one seed in the AFC, the bye and home field advantage, Chiefs can clinch with any of the following: a win plus one of the Bills' losses, or two Bills' losses and a Bengals loss. Although you can't do that because how can the Bengals have two losses when the Bills and the Bengals have to play? So not sure about that. Bills can clinch any of the following with two wins. Again, can't be two wins. I'm pretty sure they're not going to play that game. But they can get it. See, huh. This was written January 2nd. This was written Monday. Okay, see, I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna quickly look to see if there are any playoff scenarios um after what happened with um You know, this was what happened. The other day. If any of those things change. Let's see if I can find something here. Okay, so this was written. That's January 2nd. Again, I don't know. Okay, so it was okay, but it was updated on January 3rd. Okay, so let's. Okay. Uh, okay. I know. I know this is great listening, but um, see, I'm trying to figure out here. Um, okay, so let's take a look at this. Let's start reading here. There's just 1 week left in the NFL regular season. There's still some things left to be decided in the AFC, NFC playoff races. So let's see. In the NFC, the Philadelphia Eagles would clinch the AFC East title with a win over the New York Giants or a loss for the Dallas Cowboys. They'll clinch the #1 seed in the conference with a win or losses by the Cowboys and 49ers. 49ers get the top seed in the AFC with a win and a loss by the Eagles. The Cowboys will win the NFC East with a win and an Eagles loss. They will get the top playoff seed with a win and losses by the Eagles and 49ers. Okay. The Green Bay Packers will clinch the final NFC playoff spot with a win. Detroit clinches that berth with a win and a loss by the Seahawks. The last seed in the NFC playoffs goes to the Seattle Seahawks with a Seattle win and a Packers loss. As for the AFC, the Bills can clinch home field advantage with a win over. Okay, maybe that game was suspended. Yeah. Okay, so the Kansas City Chiefs we get the top seed with a win at the Las Vegas Raiders and a loss for the Bills to the Bengals or Patriots. The Bengals will get the #1 AFC postseason seed with a win over the Bills, which again suspended, or in a Week 18 win over the Baltimore Ravens, combined with a Chiefs loss to the Raiders. The Jacksonville Jaguars will win the AFC South for the win or a tie against the Tennessee Titans. The Titans will win the division with a win over the Jaguars. The Bengals would win the AFC North for the win over the Bills or a win over the Ravens. As for the final seed in the AFC playoffs, 4 teams are still alive for that number 7 seed. The New England Patriots would get it with a win at Buffalo or with a Miami Dolphins loss to the New York Jets and a Pittsburgh Steelers loss to the Cleveland Browns. The Dolphins would earn it with a win over the Jets and the Patriots loss to the Bills. The Steelers need to beat the Browns and have the Dolphins lose to the Jets and the Patriots lose to the Bills to get into the postseason. The Jaguars could get the final playoff spot seed in the AFC with a loss to the Titans and losses by the Dolphins, Patriots, and Steelers. All right, so there you have it. Those are the playoff seeds. It's very weird because of what is going on with um obviously this suspended game. And again, I don't think the game is going to be replayed. I don't think it is. I doubt. I know there's a talk about maybe maybe we have that extra week that's built in from the championship Sunday to the Super Bowl Sunday. But there's that buy in that week. But and you could push everything back. But would you do that for just one game? Would you do that just so that that one game could be played between the Bills and the Bengals? Would you really just do it like that so that one game could, you know? And I think there's a lot of talk about that. I don't know if that game, can be played because the Bills and think they're going to go back to the place where their team where their fallen where their friend had that accident, and would that be unlikely for them to could they even play like that, thinking that this is the field that Damar Hamlin you know you know get cardiac arrest and if God forbid the worst of the worst happens at some point, does that happen? So yeah. But those are the games coming this week, and those are the playoff scenarios for the National Football League. Um, and I talked about earlier about Courtney Cronin and her thing about playing, and I think they do have to play. I hope they do play. Um, but yeah, that is something to think about too. If the freak accident becomes a humongous tragedy, do they play these games at some point? And will that happen? So we'll have to wait and see about that. Um, and that's a totally different thing about if the worst comes to worst, if that happens, rather than they shouldn't be playing at all. I think that's an absolutely ridiculous opinion, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But there you have it. That's the National Football League's Week 18. All right, guys, that is it for this episode of the Game According to Me. Make sure that you are checking wherever you listen to this. Make sure you subscribe and you rate it and you do all those good things. Once again, we want to send our thoughts out to Damar Hamlin. We are praying for you, brother. And yeah, so as always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there. And I am out.